Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, Syracuse community members reflect on the October 7th attacks that happened 2 years ago.
And Syracuse University in Newhouse hosted a storytelling symposium with members of CNN's climate team. What kind of advice did they have for students?
And a new program adds cameras to school zones across the city. All of that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill. Welcome to Mornings on the Hill. I'm Gabriella Peniston.
And I'm Troy Jun. We'll start with some breaking news. Police are investigating a stabbing incident on East Rainer Avenue. That's less than 10 minutes off campus. Police found a 47-year-old female with a stab wound to her right thigh.
The unidentified victim was transported to Upstate University Hospital, where she is in stable condition. Anyone with information can contact the Syracuse Police Department. Now, let's get into our top story.
SU is making clarifications regarding program pauses in majors. According to Vice Chancellor and Provost Louise Agnew, the academic portfolio reviews examines all academic programs across the university, with pauses being made to programs under review.
Agnew emphasized that a program pause does not remove it from the catalog, stop it from being taught, or get rid of courses related to the program. However, new students will not be admitted into paused programs.
The clarification comes as programs related to African American studies, fine arts, modern Jewish studies, and 15 others remain paused. Agnew says there are no predetermined outcomes, and student engagement matters now as deans will submit recommendations by the end of the year. Yesterday marked 2 years since the Hamas terrorist attack that began the Israel-Hamas war. Our Madison Diaz has more on how the tragedy continues to affect the Syracuse community.
Thanks, Troy. Moments of silence to musical performances filled a local synagogue this Sunday as members of Syracuse's Jewish community commemorated the lives lost 2 years ago. At 6:29 a.m. on October 7th, 2023, rockets were launched towards Israel from Gaza. Hamas terrorists attacked the Nova Music Festival and invaded homes of Israeli civilians. 1,200 people were killed and 251 were kidnapped.
Through their stories, we commemorate the murdered. We give voice to the hostages still held in captivity and shine a light on entire communities whose lives were completely altered in a single morning.
Community members gathered to honor the memory of those killed and held hostage. Attendees heard firsthand accounts from survivors and messages from family members of victims.
October 7 did not end in a single day. Its shadow followed us every moment. Its absence echoes in every song, every holiday, every smile that cannot be shared.
2 years later, there are still 48 hostages in Gaza, with only 20 believed to still be alive.
People that we love, people that we know, truly innocent civilians targeted with hate. The most important thing is to recognize that what happened on October 7th cannot be allowed to happen again.
Since the start of the war, over 67,000 Palestinians have also been killed, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. The United Nations Commission of Inquiry has recently said that Israel is committing genocide. With widespread displacement and starvation, the war has been deadly for both sides. Ceasefire talks are happening now between Israeli and Hamas representatives in Egypt. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Now, Newhouse held a storytelling event symposium with CNN's climate team on Tuesday.
Amelia Zan joins us live in studio to talk about last night's event.
CNN's climate team shared their story behind the scenes. 3 members gave their advices to people who joined the event. People who joined the event were able to ask questions that they're most curious about.
Why? Mistakes? Only the other one is results.
3 members of CNN's climate team sat in Newhouse Auditorium and talked about their experience of being in their positions. Each of the members shared their career paths from studying in college to doing their dream jobs. The team also shared their fun stories on monitoring animals.
I'm part of this team where I work with climate correspondent Bill Weir from CNN, and I'm a shooter, producer, and editor. I work with Julian Quinones, who also is a shooter, producer, and editor. And we've been working together for about a decade doing stories related to climate. And a lot of the stories we tell, are going to places where there have been hurricanes, fires in the U.S. and around the world. And as time has gone on, we've seen an evolution in the kinds of stories that we do, where we look at first responders on the ground.
The team will go to Antarctica for a month and monitor penguins soon. From Syracuse, Amelia Jan, NCC News.
Thank you so much. Well, Troy, it was raining a little bit before we got here, so do you think it's still going to be raining?
I don't know yet, but I think our Holden Sherman is outside currently to break down the current weather.
It was a little bit of a slippery conditions about 12 hours ago, but we've gotten over that. The problem, though, is we're not in the sleazy, breezy part of the year anymore. We're in the chilly and probably a good time for a bowl of chili time of the year. Temperatures are going to hover around 60 degrees, but my photographers look like they're absolutely frigid, and everyone around I've seen has long sleeves. I'll have more about how the weather is changing and your regional temperatures coming up. Guys?
Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, the latest from Washington as the government shutdown enters day 8. Stay right with us. Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. Now, the government shutdown has entered its 8th day as both sides are locked in their positions. The Senate will be holding votes next Wednesday on dueling measures to fund the government and end the shutdown after the recent bill fell short of the 60 votes it needs.
Yesterday, President Trump suggested that he may withhold pay from all federal employees once the government shutdown ends. He also said that he will announce which government programs he intends to permanently eliminate. At this point, roughly 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed during the shutdown.
And if you're planning on flying this week, plan accordingly. Travelers could face more delays at major airports due to the shortage of air traffic controllers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that more controllers are calling out sick due to the shutdown.
Just like TSA agents, air traffic controllers are considered essential and must work without pay. Multiple major airports are being affected, including Chicago's O'Hare and Nashville International Airport. Even here at Syracuse Hancock Airport, travelers are facing delays.
Now, just over 2 weeks ago, Syracuse police launched the school zone traffic enforcement program in partnership with the city.
That's right, Gabriella. This is part of the city's Vision Zero program. It launched a few years ago, and cameras in school zones are a phase of this initiative. Now, our very own Alex Rondon is live with more information. Alex?
Yeah, Gabriella and Troy, thank you so much. In school zones all across Syracuse City School District, you're going to see cameras implemented. They are there to track red light violations and speeding violations. I was at Lincoln Middle School yesterday morning where I spoke with Sergeant Thomas Blake, who told me the numbers are already concerning.
No, not at this time, but like you alluded to, we've had 60,000 violations in the city of Syracuse in just 2 weeks of this kind of warning period, if you will. So pretty alarming numbers.
Blake said the police department has received complaints from the public. He noted that he understands the concern people have around new technology and wants the public to know this is not a money grab.
And this isn't about the fine amount, that's just kind of what happens, but this is all about keeping children safe, and that's the main goal here. The goal is not to issue a bunch of tickets, it's to change the behavior so that kids can go to and from school safely.
Carrie Rybakowski, a mother of 4, likes the cameras and is in agreement with the Syracuse Police Department.
No, I think they're doing the right thing, and I think they're going about it in the right way. They're issuing notices that are very informative, that give the person, the offender, the right information about what the program's about.
Her youngest son is 16 years old and will soon be on the road. She says she has been preparing him to be a safe driver.
Well, I hope to get him into to driver's ed first. I'm waiting for the schedule to come out for that. I'm also talking with him about defensive driving practices, and so I hope that he is a safe driver himself, but also aware of the dangers on the road.
Yeah, well, from October 19th to October 25th, it is National Teen Driver Safety Awareness Week. Now, I spoke with Sergeant Thomas Blake, who told me his message to young drivers is to maintain alertness and anticipate danger. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Alex Grondin. Troy and Gabriella, back to you guys.
Thank you, Alex. Well, it's time to check on our weather once again.
Yeah, our Holden Sherman is live in studio this time, but look at your full weather forecast for the week.
I'm back with the regional temperatures. So it's hovering around the 50s, like I was talking about earlier, in the Syracuse region, and close to the river, close to the Finger Lakes, and to down northeast south. And temperatures are going to go up to about 60 degrees in the region. And now for your 5-day forecast, I've got some sad news for you all. The nice weather, it's starting to go away. It's really unfortunate. We were lucky on time when we had those 78-degree days. We had an 80-degree on Monday, an 80-degree day on Monday, but Mr. Blue Sky is kind of saying goodbye for now with the nice weather. On Sunday and Monday, you're going to want a raincoat, especially on Monday. We're going to get a lot of rain. Students are going away for fall break, so maybe you're going to nicer temperatures than Syracuse, but when you come back, expect the temperatures to be different and feel like there's a strong contrast from when you left it to when you got back. Guys?
Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, Syracuse football is coming off their second straight loss. How the team is responding.
The puck finally dropped in the new NHL season last night. Also, who's going to win the 2025 World Series? We'll be right back for sports.
Rise and shine, Orange fans. I'm Victoria Daly with your morning sports update around the Hill. Syracuse football is coming off their second straight loss. The Orange were defeated 31-18 to SMU on Saturday. SU trailed 31-3 with 12 minutes left in the fourth, but found momentum in the quarter, scoring 15 points before time ran out. SU's next game isn't for 2 weeks when they host Pittsburgh on October 18th in a Saturday night matchup. These two teams have matched up 81 times, the most frequently played rivalry in program history. Syracuse field hockey took the win this weekend versus Colgate, putting them at 9-2 on the season. According to the NFHCA Division I coaches poll, SU remains in the top 5 rankings after their 5-1 victory. The team travels out west to take on Stanford on Friday and Berkeley on Sunday. To wrap up your Orange sports around the Hill, ACC Network announced the TV schedule for the upcoming women's basketball season. 3 home games, Auburn, Duke, and Stanford, will be on national TV. The women's season starts November 4th versus Stony Brook at the Dome. Jumping over to the professional world, our reporter Hannah Beam takes us to the ice with updates from opening night of the NHL. Hannah?
Hockey fans, it's back. The NHL dropped the puck on a brand new season last night, with 3 games kicking off what could be one of the most exciting years the league has seen in a while. The night started in Florida, where the Panthers raised another Stanley Cup banner, their second straight, before edging out the Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. Florida is chasing history this season, trying to become the first team to complete a hat trick of championships since the Islanders dynasty of the early 1980s. Meanwhile, over in Edmonton, superstar Connor McDavid made his headlines before the puck even dropped, signing a 2-year contract extension worth $12.5 million per season, keeping him with the Oilers as they continue their quest for a championship after losing to the Panthers in the finals the last 2 years. In other openers, the Pittsburgh Penguins spoiled former head coach Mike Sullivan's debut behind the New York Rangers bench with a 3-0 shutout win, controlling the pace and capitalizing on special teams to quiet Madison Square Garden. Out west, the Colorado Avalanche rolled past the LA Kings, 4-1 in a dominant showing, taking over the middle of the game and looking every bit like a team ready to contend again. It's also the final year of the traditional 82-game schedule before the league bumps it up to 84 next season. This means a little more hockey and a lot more revenue. The change is part of the NHL's plan to squeeze more rivalry matchups and even out home and away series across all 32 teams. And fans will also get to see something they haven't seen in more than a decade: NHL players back in the Olympics. That's right, the league is taking a 2-week break in February so stars like Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, and Cale Makar can suit up for their countries in Milan Cortina, Italy. It'll be the first time since 2014 that the world's best are all on the same ice, and anticipation for that gold medal showdown is already sky high. Between now and then, more than 900 games will be played, with powerhouses like Edmonton, Las Vegas, Carolina, and Colorado leading the pack. The road to the Stanley Cup is already heating up. Back to you, Victoria.
Thanks, Hannah. The Las Vegas Aces and Phoenix Mercury matched up tonight in Game 3 of the 2025 WNBA Finals. The Aces, who have won 2 of the last 3 championships, hold a commanding 2-0 lead over the Mercury, who returned to the Final Four for the first time in 4 years. This is the first year that the WNBA Finals is a best-of-7 series, and viewership did not disappoint. Game 1 was the most-watched opening game since its inaugural season, pulling in 1.9 million viewers. And the MLB playoff race is heating up. Our Ryan Story is live this morning with an expert analysis. Ryan?
All 4 divisional series matchups are going on in the MLB. There was a chance for a sweep in the American League last night, but that was narrowly avoided. Today, we'll start off with the National League, where both the Cubs and Phillies are on the ropes, down 2-0 in their respective series. But guess what? We don't need this broom today. There will be no sweeps. Looking at the 4th-seeded Cubs hosting the top-ranked Brewers, it's a better pitching matchup for some of Chicago's stars. Watch out for young sensation Pete Crow Armstrong to homer against righty starter Quinn Priester of Milwaukee. The Cubs are not going down at Wrigley Field today. The other NL matchup, the Dodgers returning home with a 2-0 lead over the Phillies. It's been a rough start for Philadelphia, but when your best players in Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber have been in a slump, it's tough to pull off wins. Harper has historically been a playoff riser, and the Phillies will not go quietly into the good night. Over to the AL, it might be the end of the road for the Tigers. They're at home against the Mariners, but Seattle is hot right now. They've won 2 straight. They forced Detroit starter Casey Mize into an ERA over 6 when they played him twice in the regular season. Seattle seems destined to win this matchup. Bringing it back local, the Yankees won last night over the Blue Jays 9-6 in comeback fashion. Aaron Judge finally had his signature playoff moment with a 3-run homer to tie the game at 6. With Cam Schlittler on the mound coming off his shutout of the Red Sox and the bleacher creatures behind them, New York will force the series to return to Canada. The best way to tell how even this playoff race is, we did a poll of who the Mornings on the Hill crew thought would win the World Series. It was a near even split. 7 of the 8 teams all had exactly 10% of the vote. The Yankees on top with 30%, but we could probably attribute that to the fact that we're located in New York. Nobody knows who's winning it all, and that's what makes this postseason fun. Back to you, Victoria.
Thanks, Ryan. Excited for the games tonight, but don't go anywhere. Entertainment when we return.
The Stars and Swifties were out in Hollywood this week. Our Eric McCormick has more.
Thanks, guys. From the billboard to the box office, there was no shortage of news in the entertainment world this week, but dominating the spotlight was the endlessly talented Taylor Swift. Swift released her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, and it shot to the top of the charts, notching a whopping 2.7 million first-day sales. The album had the 2nd largest sales week since 1991, according to Billboard.com. But it doesn't stop there for Taylor. The pop star doubled down on her big weekend by releasing an hour-and-a-half film providing a look into her creative process, as well as a never-before-seen music video for the song The Fate of Ophelia. The movie topped the box office this weekend, according to IMDb, bringing in an estimated $50 million worldwide and putting Swift amongst Prince and Harry Styles, along with a few others, as artists to have a #1 Billboard song and #1 box office movie at the same time. Well, big weekend for Swift with all that money and her fiance Travis Kelce scoring on Monday night as well, so a lot to cheer for the Swifties. But Travis was not the only NFL or former NFL player involved in highlights this weekend, as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's feature film, The Smashing Machine, released in theaters this weekend. Telling the story of Ultimate Fighting Championship Hall of Famer Mark Kerr, while the film has received good reviews, with Johnson even getting early Oscar shouts, it hasn't exactly been a smashing success. The film grossed approximately $6 million in its opening weekend against a budget of $50 million from A24. Nonetheless, The Rock has remained optimistic about the production, saying, quote, "Truth is, this film has changed my life. With deep gratitude, respect, and radical empathy, DJ." Well, I have yet to see the movie, but as a UFC fan and The Rock, that is definitely top of my list. But while the Smashing Machine may have gotten knocked out this weekend, one of Hollywood's biggest stars rose back into the limelight. That's right. 3-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis returned this weekend, marking the first time in 8 years that the There Will Be Blood star has been seen on the big screen. Lewis was drawn back into the theaters to star in his son Ronan's directional debut. And finally, our last piece of news is that Comic-Con, New York City Comic-Con will be starting this weekend. So it's time to get those costumes and props out. So let me ask you guys, let's say, are you guys more of a Star Wars or a DC or Marvel group here?
I would say Marvel.
I think I would have to agree with you. I think I'm more of a Marvel person right here.
I was always a Star Wars guy. You know, growing up, they always made that. And I do love some Minecraft as well, as you can see. But I was always a Star Wars fan myself. So while I will not be going down to to Comic-Con myself, I certainly will be looking and taking a look at social media to see what's going on out there.
I mean, this would be a great look for Comic-Con. I will give you that.
As a New York City native, it's always crowded down there when Comic-Con happens.
I think I've got one of the better, they get pretty good costumes out there, but I think I've got one of the better ones going on here. I mean, like, I'm classy.
I don't know. I think, you know what?
I'm ready to go. I'm at, like,
I think Troy and I should go to Comic-Con. You should dress up as Troy Bolton from High School Musical. I will dress up as Gabriella from High School Musical, and I think that would be the best costume there.
I think that would be a really good costume. The only problem is that there's no room for me in that one, but I'm fine.
All right, that is going to do it for us here this Wednesday on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Gabriella Pennison. Follow us on social media.
I'm Troy John. Thanks for watching, Orange Nation. We'll see you next Wednesday live at 10 a.m. right here on OTN.